Hey guys, today I'm going to be ranking all 11 DCEU movies from worst to best, so let's get started. At number 11 at last place is Justice League. It is such a bad movie. None of the characters get developed. Cyborg comes out of nowhere. The actors aren't doing their best just because of Joss Whedon. WB washed up this movie, mandating a 2-hour runtime. None of the characters feel good, they just feel like jokesters. It feels like a mess, it has so many stupid moments. The villain is horrible. And you don't understand his motivation or anything. This is easily my least favorite movie of all time, and for good reason. Another bad thing about it is just the CGI. The CGI is god awful. Like, this movie has a pretty big budget, and what's wrong with the CGI? There's not a single shot in the entire movie where I couldn't tell the CGI was fake. And compared to Zack Snyder's Justice League, this movie just lowers down so badly. It gets an easy 0 out of 10. Not even there's not a single good thing about this movie. Even Danny Elfman's score, I'm not a big fan of his score in this one movie, which is just a shame. Number 10 is Suicide Squad. This movie's pretty bad. It's not god awful or something. It's still pretty bad, but I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever watched. I've watched stuff that is like 10 times worse. So it's just it's so bad that you actually could enjoy yourself. It's so stupid, like it has such bad pacing. The cuts are so bad. The music choices come out of nowhere. The pop songs come out of nowhere. Actors aren't able to do their best. The cast is really good, I can tell you that. But the CGI isn't even that good. Um, it's so bad in the things it does wrong that it becomes enjoyable. Like something that's so bad, but it's really funny too. Because it's so bad, you get to laugh at it like 3,000 times. But I do like the cast. I think Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn in this movie wasn't really that good. But every other movie she was really good, like The Suicide Squad or even Birds of Prey. Will Smith was amazing casting for Deadshot because he's one of my favorite actors of all time too. Amanda Waller, um, she was really good casted. She did really good in this movie. And a few other actors, like the actor who plays Captain Boomerang, was pretty decent in the movie, and he was pretty decently cast. But overall, this movie gets a 3 out of 10. Actually, I'll just give it a below average 4. It's just funny for me. Number 9 is Wonder Woman 1984. It's a mediocre movie. Now we're going on to the meh movies. It's not bad by any stretch, but not really that good. It's like an equal amount of stuff I like, an equal amount of stuff I don't like. It is fun to watch through it, but the plot doesn't make sense. The villain doesn't get well developed. The storyline doesn't get well developed. The CGI looks unbelievably bad, mostly based on the budget this movie has. And it didn't feel like it was worth the wait. Like, the first Wonder Woman did something impossible for DC. It actually became the first really good movie in the DCEU. And now this movie just went off the road. It's not like some people even claim it's a feminist movie. I don't really think it is. Like, I don't know why people say that. Like, I've watched 2 videos where people say that, and I don't really think it is. But another thing I really don't like is that Steve came back to life. I thought his introduction was way too rushed, didn't make any sense, and it was just stupid. The way he came back to life, and honestly, I didn't even like him that much in this movie. I also thought the introduction from the stone, from just being in a museum, like if it's that powerful, it should be in like, someplace secure, not in the middle of a damn museum, which really sucks. How does Maxwell Lord even know anything about the Rock? I have no idea, because it's never explained. I watched the movie 3 times so far, and I didn't understand it. So overall, this movie gets a 5 out of 10 average. Birds of Prey, when I first watched it, I thought it was meh. The second time I thought I was like, oh, this is pretty fun and good. The third time, which is just yesterday, I thought it was fun, but it's not really that good. So I really like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn in this movie. She's probably one of my favorite characters in the entirety of the DCU because she's just so much fun to be around. But overall, Black Mask was such a waste. Was like so wasted in this entire movie. He was so good in the comics because he's actually one of my favorite characters in the comics, and in this movie, he was really wasted. but there are a lot of good stuff. It's really fun. The character arc that Harley Quinn goes through was also pretty enjoyable and well thought out. It does have feminist parts in the movie, which is something I really don't like. I really hate feminist movies, and um, like it tried to make Harley and the rest of the Birds of Prey even stronger, like really strong female characters in a way that didn't feel natural. Like if you just go along with the plot and make them strong female characters, no one will doubt that they're not strong. But the thing is, they did stuff that only feminist movies do and stuff like that. So it's not a bad movie, but overall, I'll just give it a strong, like a weak 6 out of 10, above average, but still has a lot of issues. Number 7 is Batman v Superman. This movie is not fun, but the reason it's this high mainly is because of the Ultimate Edition, which was just so good. Like, at least compared to the original. The first movie was just so messy, but with the Ultimate Edition, I do like it a lot more. I think Batman killing is a sin that no one should forget. It's just, why does he have to kill? Just don't make him kill, just make him injure people really hard. That's all you have to do. But he kills. I feel bad for that. But I think Henry Cavill Superman's a bit too dark. Like, he's way too dark for me. I do like his Superman. Don't get me wrong. Just for the Superman I'm used to, he's nowhere near as like hopeful and stuff. But it's not like he's bad in this movie. He's really good. Just I don't think Henry Cavill was suited to play a lighthearted Superman. He's more or less darker in a way. The build-up was stupid. Lex Luthor's a bad villain. Doomsday was added in the last second. Superman's death felt forced. The way Superman and Batman's mom just have the same name, and that's how Superman stopped Batman from killing him. Three just literally made me laugh every single time I watch this movie. So overall, this movie gets a 6 out of 10, strong 6 out of 10, and it's enjoyable, but not really that great. Number 6 is Man of Steel. At the beginning, like the first movie in the DCEU, I really liked it. It established the Superman character in a way, gave him a compelling arc. I just wish we saw him save like 10 times more people than how many people he did save, but it was fine. It was really fun, this movie, but I think the Superman is still way too dark. Like, that's people's main complaint. This doesn't feel like Superman, it feels like Batman 2.0. Just, it's like Batman with the powers of Superman, except even more brutal than the natural Batman, which really sucks, but it's not like it's awful or anything. The movie is still, it gives Clark Kent a compelling origin story, and seeing him and Lois develop was really bad. I have to say that. I hate Amy Adams' Lois Lane. Amy Adams is a pretty good actress, but her Lois Lane sucks. But all the references in the movie, like I watched the movie like a lot of scenes in 0.25 speed, and I noticed like half the times just to read a few building names and their references to comic books and stuff like that. So Zack Snyder did put a lot of work into this movie, and I really appreciate the movie. Also looks outstanding, and Zod is a great villain. So overall, this movie gets a 7 out of 10. Wonder Woman. Fifth place is Wonder Woman. So this movie was the first, in my opinion, great DCU movie. It established a lead character, gave us some time to learn what she is, who she is, what she stands for, why she wants to help people, and spent enough time in, like, her island to understand that. Gives us a compelling origin for Zeus, and when Chris Pine comes in, he is such a good character in this movie, like Chris Pine, Steve Trevor, and he's super fun to be with, and the chemistry between him and Diana is really good, but the movie shatters in the third act. I don't hate the third act as much as others, I think it's just fine. But the final battle was really unneeded, and Ares was such a bad villain. And the villains, the main villains in here, aren't even that great. Dr. Poison and that army captain dude were not that great. They did do a lot of mean stuff, I could say. So overall, this movie gets a solid 8 out of 10. Number 4 is Aquaman. This movie is probably like the second most visually outstanding movie I've ever seen. Like, it is just so well done. James Wan is a well-renowned horror director. He directed the first two Conjuring movies, Fast and Furious 7, and pretty much every movie he directed was really good. And even Aquaman. Aquaman, although at times the story doesn't deliver, the outstanding visuals always delivered. It feels like an epic adventure that you go through this movie. I really liked it. Like seeing squid drums, and it's also like Black Panther in a lot of ways. But I almost thought this movie copied Black Panther. I was never a big fan of Aquaman. I'm still not, but except the Jason Momoa version, the chemistry between him and Amber Heard is pretty good. And in the movie, seeing their love triangle develop was well done. And also, she's actually a pretty decent love interest to go into. Um, it looks outstanding, has some pretty good character development for Arthur, um, and is like the only DCEU movie to make $1 billion, which is shocking, but it makes a lot of money, so that's good. And overall, this movie is super fun and enjoyable, and I'll give it a stronger than Wonder Woman, but still the same score, an 8 out of 10. So number three, like starting off the top three, Shazam. Shazam is a fun, lighthearted adventure, giving Billy Batson, its main character, a great and compelling arc. Some has really good visuals, a pretty good villain with a pretty good backstory, and interesting fight scenes, like really good fight scenes. Um, and Zachary Levi is totally convincing in the role of like young RJ Angels or Billy Batson. The person who plays the other kid, one of his, like Billy's foster brother, like I don't remember his name, but he was great in It, like the first It movie, which was also really good. And I think he's even better in Shazam. Shazam's also really funny. The fight choreography is good for because Billy's a kid and he's gonna fight like a kid, and saying that he's a kid. He fights like a kid. So the fight choreography makes you feel like Zachary Levi's actually the kid, except he's a grown up, but still. And also, he just perfected the kid. He acts just like the kid, and he gets a good character arc to learn that if he had these abilities, he shouldn't just use them for his own selfish needs. If he has them, try and use them to help people. And he goes through a compelling arc, but the ending was kind of weak with like a big dumb CGI final battle. I don't really like those type of battles. It's not bad or something, but it's not really that good. The battle overall, the movie gets a solid 9 out of 10. The Suicide Squad being the latest installment in the DCU is still one of the best. It is so much fun. It's so funny. It's worth its runtime. It takes advantage of its R rating, going brutal and violent. Um, King Shark is probably my second favorite character, but I think the Deadshot 2.0 or Bloodsport is easily my favorite character. He's the one who goes through the most compelling arc and feels real. Every character in this entire movie goes through something. Rick Flag, Peacemaker, Ratcatcher, King, like the Noir, the shark, I'll just call him. Um, except the first Suicide Squad, like most people on the first version, but even Polka Dot Man go through an arc. Everyone feels like they're developed. It's super funny, super creative, and gets an easy 9 out of 10. Strong 9 out of 10. And number one for me is still Zack Snyder's Justice League. This movie, although 4 hours, gives every character a good arc. Even Superman gets one, a mini arc. Batman, it gets a huge arc, learning that he has to accept himself with a team and not being psychopath murderer like he was in Batman v Superman. Wonder Woman goes through an arc of acceptance and learning that she has to be herself, not like she. Well, it's not really that easy to explain. Cyborg goes through an arc to accept who he is, and that even though he's this robotic mechanical dude, it's not like he's worth for nothing. The Flash goes through an arc learning that what his father said in the prison, that he had to make his own future was real, and Mr. Arthur King here goes through an arc too. So everyone goes through an arc. The visuals are outstanding. It makes these people feel like an actual team. The arcs have epic conclusion. The last and final battle, where they lose, but then the Flash reverses time, was beautifully done. Looked so cool and was so creative. And I actually think this movie is better than Avengers Infinity War, which is my favorite MCU movie. So, yeah, that's saying something. This movie is easily one of my favorite DC movies. Maybe my favorite, but I don't think it is. But this movie easily took up the number one spot for me. Just such a fun and epic adventure. And it gets a really strong 10 out of 10. Well, I do have a few problems with it, but for the most part, they're so easy to look through that I can't give it a lower score. So that's my list. Tell me yours in the comments below, and see you all in the next video.